Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Yappers Club. Good morning, everyone. I'm back. It is currently 8 in the morning. As you all know, or maybe you don't, I haven't been sleeping well, so I couldn't sleep again. And I've been meaning to record a new episode, and I just can't seem to find something to talk about because my brain has been in shambles and it's slowly eating at itself because I can't properly sleep. So if this video is all over the place, I'm sorry. I also got a big Red Bull, so you know it's serious. With that being said, по принцип имах друга идея за този епизод и си записах всичките неща на телефона, за които исках да говоря. But I decided to scrap that idea because this morning, because I couldn't sleep, I decided to go out to the store и да си взема напитка, закуска, и цигари, obviously. And I decided that I don't want to talk about what I wanted to talk about because I had a specific moment in the store. Maybe because haven't been sleeping well or whatever it is. Тази случка just made me want to talk about this specific thing. And if it doesn't make sense, whatever, you know, but it makes sense to me. И се надявам да мога да обясня това, за което искам да говоря по възможно най-разбираемия начин за вас. With that being said, това, което ми се случи в магазина беше нищо интересно като цяло. Просто си слушах музика на слушалките и си спрях музиката, защото аз винаги съм със слушалки because I don't want people to talk to me when I'm in public and by myself. I want to listen to my music. Или дори си спирам музиката because I just... Просто искам хората да видят, той слуша музика, няма да го заговарям. Right? We all do it. I mean, we all do it. И аз съм си спрял музиката, защото знам, че съм наред и аз по принцип се подготвям. Даже преди, като влезам в магазина, повечето пъти си спирам музиката, просто защото I want to be aware of like what's going on. Чакам си аз, моя ред да дойде. Има един полицай, ме беше пред мен, whatever. И нещо си говори там с той, който работи и някакъв друг зад него говори, този мъж, който е зад мен, си говорят нещо двамата. И го пита, той, който е зад мен, го пита този полицай пред мен, девойчето с теб ли е? Аз съм някакво девойчето и просто ми направи малко впечатление. Maybe because I haven't been sleeping, maybe because of my own issues that I have with myself, but it really made me think that, oh, like people perceive me as sometimes maybe a woman. People perceive me as more feminine because, well, look at me, girl. I maybe look more feminine to some people. Maybe I don't. The thing is, at this point in my life, I don't really know what I want to present myself as. Because at this point in my life, I can't really differentiate masculinity and femininity on me. В смисъл не мога да преценя какво съм аз и как се презентвам пред хората или как искам да се презентвам. И дълго време, още когато бях на 19, 18 even, I thought I had to be more feminine because that's what, you know, gay men look like, you know, that's what I'm supposed to be like. That's who I'm supposed to present myself as because, you know, that's what gays are, you know, they're more feminine, they're more flamboyant, so let me do that, you know, and for a long time I did that, and I thought I was going to be accepted. I thought I was going to be liked by more people, and for a long time it worked because, защото всеки път, когато стрейт жена чуе, че си гей, тя е някакво, омага, моят гей най-добър приятел. I've always wanted to have a gay best friend. Да можем да си говорим за момчета, or whatever that bullshit is, and you just feel like a Pokemon. The best way to describe it is you literally feel like a Pokemon, like they hit the jackpot with you, girl, because you're the rare Pokemon that they've always wanted to have, and you're there. So I had to, for a long time, just pretend, not even pretend, or like, more like play this role of the gay best friend just because people liked me like that. I was going to be accepted. Because when I was a child, I wasn't antisocial. A lot of people thought I was because I didn't really like going out that much. I didn't really talk to a lot of people. I was just very closed off. I was living in my own little world that I created in my brain because it felt safer for me and other stuff that I don't want to talk about. And I really wanted to be accepted because as a child especially, защото аз се преместих, когато завърших трети клас, се преместих в друго училище. New people, new school, new town, new everything, and it was really hard for me to like adjust. In that point of time, I wasn't really out, you know? And I just really wanted to fit in. And when you're a child, you really want to like make new friends. You want to fit in because everyone's having fun and you just want to be part of that. You want to be part of that group, you know? And I did everything in my power to like fit into that group and I never could because I'm a weirdo. Hey, I was weird as a child. I've always been weird. So I didn't fully like fit in. I just like kind of fit in, but kind of not. And I felt for the most part like an imposter. And when I came out, suddenly everyone, not everyone, you know, but the bigger part of my class was like, oh my god, he's gay. She's a queen. She's a diva. Like, let's be friends. Like, I've always wanted to have a gay best friend. Like, oh my god. And I was like, okay, so this is my way of fitting in. Like, this is what I have to do. I can finally fit in. And I started playing that role of the gay best friend. Like, oh my god, yes, girl, slay boots the house down, you know? I thought it was fine because ако се държах както по принцип се държа, което at the time, as I said, was very antisocial, very nerdy, very like, just like a nerd. You know, I was a nerd, okay? I was a nerd. I didn't act on those things. I mean, I did, but also I didn't. I was kind of keeping them a little bit hidden away just because I didn't want people to perceive me for the real me, just because I felt like I wasn't going to get accepted. And I didn't feel like I was meant to be who I was at the time just because of society and like whatever it is, especially as a gay man, like learning that you're gay and learning about your sexuality and also having a boyfriend at the time. It was just a lot of things happening in my brain. And I felt like I had to like fit into that role of the gay best friend and the gay guy in school just because, you know, I mean, who was going to do that, girl? Who was going to do that? Because I had another friend, well, ex-friend now, that was also gay, but he was way different than me. He didn't really show anything that, you know, said gay or whatever because, you know, he just felt scared. And I thought that if I was able to do that, then maybe he can, and then maybe we can be in it together. But for the most part, I just was by myself, you know, I just felt like really alone because когато си говорех и социализирах с моята friend group at the time, чувствах се out of place all the time. И дори не осъзнавах, че съм out of place, докато не се прибира вкъщи и си оставах сам с мислите и си към, but is that what I'm supposed to be doing? Is that how I'm supposed to be acting? Like, is this what gay men are doing? И това е, че at the time, especially at that time, when I was 15, 16, like the gay men online were like flamboyant, they were crazy, slay, diva, boots, the house, you know, like all of that. And I thought like, oh, like if they're acting like that, if every gay man that I see online is acting like that, then that must be it then. This is what we're supposed to be. And if you're different than that, then girl, you're not going to be accepted. No one's going to like you. And I was like the funny gay best friend, you know? And I've always been the funny gay best friend, girl. Don't get it twisted, okay? Don't get it twisted. Let's keep that clear. After that period, after we graduated and I moved here for university, забелязах, че когато се отделих от тези хора, малко или много имах възможността да създам нова версия на себе си тук, с нови хора. And you know what I did? I did the same fucking thing. I was like, oh my god, like, I'm the gay best friend because that's all I knew how to do. And it was really hard for me to step out of it, but for the most part, I kept like being in that little box of like, oh my god, I'm the gay best friend. Си говорим за момчета, нали? I'm your girlfriend. And I wasn't. I'm a man, okay? I'm grateful to my friends at the time, who are still my friends now, that helped me step out of my shell. But I'm more grateful for one of my friends. I always talk about her. Вие си повечето я знаете коя е. Y'all love her. She was like one of the only people who first told me like, girl, you're a man. Like, you're a whole ass man. Like, you do not have to act a certain way for me to like you. You're not my gay best friend. You're my best friend. I was like, oh my god, I'm not the gay best friend. I'm just the best friend. And I was like, whoa. But I'm getting off track. Let's go back to the first year that I moved here. You know, new city, new opportunities, new dates, new potential lovers, new potential relationships. And I was going on a lot of dates with a lot of men. Unfortunately or fortunately, who knows? Unfortunately, though, because some things happened. When I was doing that, back I kept like pretending that I'm this flamboyant guy and I was very feminine, and because if you look like me and if you are skinny enough and if you're this, then and if you act more feminine, then more men are gonna approach you, more men are gonna be interested in you because you're acting like the way they want you to act and you're fitting into their little box. And for a long time I kept trying to fit into someone else's box just because I wanted to be accepted. I wanted to be seen. I wanted to feel like I was part of the group, I wanted to be liked. And it was really hard for me to step out of it. And that's why I think at times it's really hard for me to be masculine or act more masculine or say masculine things or have a masculine look even or anything just like that, because for a long time I didn't even have the opportunity to experience that masculinity, in a way, because I grew up very like weird. I was always weird. I was always a weird bitch, and it was really hard for me to know like what masculinity is and what femininity is. И как ще изглежда на мен това нещо. And I think with time, I learned that femininity and masculinity can coexist. And you shouldn't put yourself in a box just because you want to be liked by someone, you want to be seen. And the thing is, we all want to be seen, but that does not mean that you have to put yourself in a box just because you want to be liked by someone, just because someone has specific categories for you to fit into them. You shouldn't feel the need to change yourself or hide who you are truly just to fit into someone else's box. And that's where the main part of this podcast episode is about, and it's about perception. It's about people perceiving you. And I think I've always struggled with that part of existing, for example, or just like being a human being, because when I was a child, when I was a teenager, and I was still learning about, sexuality, being the gay best friend, being feminine, or whatever it is, I think I wanted to be perceived in a certain way just because, again, I wanted to be liked. I wanted to have friends. I wanted to be social. I didn't want to feel weird because everyone called me antisocial in high school. And if you say you didn't, bitch, you're lying, because in a way I was. The thing is, I was antisocial. And I was struggling with that because there's nothing wrong with being antisocial, okay? I was antisocial. There was nothing wrong. Maybe there is some wrong things about that, but, that's a long topic. But I didn't like that just because people looked at me weird. People made weird comments about the fact that, oh my god, нали, целият клас се събира, целият клас отиват някъде, всички ще ходим там, и Митко няма да ходи, защото той е антисоциален, той седи само в тях. And it's like, that's true. That was the case, but I think instead of just like sucking it up and like being like, okay, you know what? I am antisocial. I am. I just instead try to twist their perception of me so they see me as more social, as more fun, as more, oh, wow, flamboyant, So, ако не излизах, нали, да кажем, ако не излизах с тях, или ако не ходех на някакво парти, организирано от класа ми, поне на училище като съм, да съм някакво, нали, all the time, because that's what they liked, They like socialism, they like fun people. And when you're a teenager, of course you want to talk to like the most fun person in the class. You're not going to talk to the weird loser who likes anime, girl. Like, you're not going to talk to them. You're going to talk to the fun one, the fun gay one, for example. And I was the fun gay one, but I also did struggle a lot with trying to keep that image up, because at times I was like, I can't keep, like, this is not, I don't feel like this is who I am. I don't align with it. But I just made myself believe that I do, because I didn't have a choice. I thought I didn't have a choice just to be who I am, because when you are growing up, especially in a more conservative environment, you tend to like hide some parts of yourself. Или especially in high school, bro. Защото тинейджерите, особено днешните деца, са отвратителни. Like, they're brutal. And at the time, they were brutal too, because I was bullied. But in order for me to not get bullied, I had to act even more like gay in order to be like, oh my god, he's gay. Like, we're not gonna bully. He's fun. He's the fun gay. Because for them, there was two types of gays: the annoying ones, the gross ones, and the fun ones. And you had to be like part of the fun ones, not the gross ones, not the creepy, quiet ones. You had to be part of the fun ones. Otherwise, you're not accepted. And I was part of the fun ones, but it wasn't my choice. I thought I had to do it just because if I didn't, then I would have a bad experience in high school. And girl, guess what? I still, even doing that, I did have a bad experience in high school, but that's besides the point. You know, even then, even when I was the fun one, I still got this imposter syndrome that I don't belong there, that I'm not who I am supposed to be, and that I don't like these gay things that most gays like, or I don't like acting like that, but I've always been very expressive, and I think that's why people thought, oh my god, he's fun just because I'm expressive. And I thought I had to be even more expressive and more performative and more like a jester and a clown to like make these people see me and like talk to me and socialize with me. And I think that's when that perception broke for me in high school. Because when I moved here, as I said, dating different men, it kept breaking my perception even more of myself. And at one point, I remember this very specifically. I had a date with a man. It went okay. I don't know. I don't remember the date that much, but that's not important. Прибирам се в нас. Преобличам се, нали. И се гледам просто в огледалото. И се гледам всяко. Буквално, тогава в този момент осъзнах, че аз не знам кой съм. Like, I genuinely was like, who am I looking at? What am I looking at? Is this who I want to be? Or is this who people want me to be? Am I acting like the way I want to be acting? Or am I acting like the way people want me to be acting? And for a long time, guess what? I covered all my mirrors in my first ever apartment. All of them were covered because I genuinely could not even perceive or look at myself, because most of the times when I did look at myself, I couldn't even perceive myself. Genuinely, and you think that's like crazy work, but it's true. Буквално аз не можех да се разпозная, и затова повечето пъти, когато излизах с познатите ми тук и приятелите ми тук от университета, for example, бях някакво, oh my god, let me act like this, so they make a comment about it, and и ако направят някакъв коментар за това как изглеждам или как се държа, аз ще го приема, ще си някакво, окей, значи, I'm gonna build my perception off of other people. You know, if that makes sense. Like, I'm gonna take their perception of me and I'm gonna make it my own, which is something you should never do. And I did that for such a long time, even here. And I got to a point where I literally did not know who I was when I was by myself. Буквално не знаех какъв съм, не знаех какво съм, не знаех как трябва да се държа, не знаех как трябва да изглеждам, не знаех как да покажа на хората, че нали, може би съм малко по-различен от останалите. And it just really fucked with my head. And I remember a man, fuck you for that also, you fucking goblin. A man on another date that I went to, a different date, said to me, ти как си мислиш, че ще те приемат хората, като се държиш по този начин? И аз съм някакво, как се държа? И той ми каза, държиш се като типичния педерас. И бях някакво, не е така. Не се държа, аз не съм такъв. Не си такъв. Буквално се държиш като типичния педерас. Така и така и така. And just basically started like bullying the fuck out of me. But also, fuck you for that. Okay? Fuck you fucking freak. But also, he was kind of right. Защото не може да се държиш така, Димитре. Не можеш да се държиш така през цялото време като типичния педерас. И после като някой ти го забележи, че ти се държиш така и ти каже, че се държиш така, ти да си някакво не е така. Because I knew that's not me. Аз знаех, че аз не съм такъв. Исках да покажа на тези специфични мъже, с които се виждах, че аз съм по-различен, че нали не съм такъв. But everything that I did in high school, all of that fucking brain chemistry trauma, whatever you call it, I don't even know, stayed with me And it twisted its way when I became 20, when I was 21, and when I was 22 even. And I think the final moment where I was like, I'm not that. I'm literally not that, was in my last relationship. In the beginning, I really thought like, oh my God, I should be acting like this, and this, and this, and this, and this, because this is what, gets men to like you. Like, this is what people like. Like, they like that side of you. Хората харесват тази част от теб. Тъй, че просто показвай само тази част. And just like make it over the top so people fuck with you. Because if you show your real side, which my real side is not that fun and bubbly and rainbows and butterflies, they would not fuck with you, girl. They will not like you. But in my last relationship, I was able to really open up and be who I've always been, which is, a little shy, a little overdramatic, a little melancholic, a little sad sometimes, and very emotional, and kind of a wreck, and I was able to show that. And I was like, okay, so it is okay to be yourself. It is okay to be perceived differently. It is okay to perceive yourself differently than others. You shouldn't go by someone else's perception of you just because you think that's right. Защото хората винаги ще имат различна представа за теб, но това не значи, че тази представа е истинска. That does not mean that whatever they see in you is who you actually are. That's not how that works. Whatever you see in you is what matters. And the way you perceive yourself is what matters the most. Is the most important thing. And I've always struggled with the way people perceive me. And to this day, I still do feel like people are perceiving me in a way that I don't like. But also, you can't really control how people perceive you. But I feel like it does mess with my head a lot, because if I didn't care at all about how people perceived me, I wouldn't have reacted the way I did in the story today. Защото буквално бях някакво, okay, that made me feel really weird, защото I don't think I present myself that way. I don't present myself that way. И бях някакво, okay, should I be presenting more feminine? Девойче. И помня, че когато бях на парти, няколко мъже ме нарекоха дами, a girl, and I think it really messed with my brain a lot, because I thought I was kind of getting the hang of, perceiving myself in different lights, more masculine, for example, or just me, no masculine, no feminine, just me. And when I did hear that, I was like, okay, so it's like my perception of me, I guess, is wrong, because people see me in a different way. И това е, че винаги ще бъде така. Винаги хората ще те виждат по начин, по който ти не се виждаш. And there's beauty in that. I'm not saying it's only negative things, because a lot of my friends do see parts in me that I would never see in myself, and I see parts in them that they would never see in themselves. So there is many good parts about being perceived a different way. But also for me, I feel like it's just something that's deeper than just being perceived. I am online, I post podcasts. I stream on Twitch. I post TikToks. I am online. I show my face, the way I act. And sometimes it feels like it is a performance for me, because I'm like, okay, so people are like this, so I'm gonna act like this. But then I'm not that, though. Like, that's not who I am, though. So why am I acting like this? Just because people would like to see that more than the real me? And the thing is, no, the fuck they don't. Because people fuck with me because I'm acting like the way I always act. Sometimes over the top, yes. But for the most part, I try my best to be as me as possible. And seeing the reactions of people online when they see me, it's really weird for me. Because I've never been the type of person to like attention. And I know that's a shocker. I know. Because I'm a Leo, and we do like a little bit of attention. But maybe I'm the weird Leo in the group. I don't know. Because, I don't necessarily hate attention towards me, but I've never actually loved it, if that makes sense. Like, I don't mind it, but also, like, like, you can keep that attention to yourself. Like, I don't want that because I don't want to be seen. I don't want to be perceived in any way like I'm a ghost. Like, I'm in the shadows. Like, I don't want that. И също, може би заради това, if you don't know, първите няколко епизода на този подкаст бяха записани без камера because I didn't want people to even see me just because I felt like they're gonna perceive me and not like the words that I'm trying to say and the things I'm trying to talk about. And I was very anxious about, filming on camera, not because I'm not confident in myself, just because I've always had this fear of just being perceived, just being seen. И ми е супер странно, защото дори такива малки interactions, които имам с хора всеки ден, they still trigger me. And I've never actually thought about it until now. I've never actually put that much thought into it until today. I think today maybe because I didn't sleep or maybe just because it's been a hell of a whirlwind in my brain. But I was like, oh, so I am afraid of being perceived. Because if you see me in public, you would just notice how I'm not saying that I'm like awkward, but I'm also not saying that I'm like, well, I'm more like shy. I'm more closed off. And people would be weirded out because online I'm like this тази фурия от емоции, скачани, крещения, and crash outs, whatever. And I feel like that's why people think that, oh, like he's super fun. And I'm not saying I'm not fun because a bitch is fun. But I would rather just not be perceived at all. I would rather just like people don't make any assumptions about me. But it is the internet. It is how life works. So people are always going to make assumptions about you and you can't control them and you can't control how someone perceives you. And I know that. But it's just very scary for me to be perceived and to be seen and to be acknowledged. I would rather just be like in the corner, shadow, literally leave, Irish goodbye. Like I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't. Защото някой ще каже, да, ти просто не обичаш да говориш с хора. And that's not the thing. I do. I love it. Но просто I think there's just something in my brain that clicks when I'm talking to someone. Докато си водя разговор с някой, дори да е рандъм човек. I'm like, в главата ми почва веднага. Съм някакво, okay, how do you think they see me? Това е начинът, по който го казах, дали ще се види по начина, по който аз искам или по начина, по който те. Ами как седя, ами как съм се облякал, my posture. And I'm just hyper aware of everything that I do and say because I'm just so like anxious about how it's going to be perceived by the person that I'm talking to or just like people around the area, And like, I don't know how to fix that. I really have never known like a good balance between perception and no perception at all. I've always been the type of to be like, okay, people want to see that, they're going to see that, but also I don't want them to see anything. I want them to see the things that they want to see. I don't want them to see what it actually is, And I do sound like a liar when I say that because you'll be like, okay, so you've been lying to us the whole time. That's not who you are. That's not what I'm saying. I hope y'all get what I'm trying to say. I really hope y'all get my point and y'all stay with me on this amazing journey of a podcast because it's going to be a mess. It's going to be a mess. Perception is very scary for a lot of people. And I think that's why I have noticed lately in my Twitter or on TikTok that Gen Z specifically, Gen Z people, hey, I'm also Gen Z, are scared of opening up and talking about their feelings or just opening up to new people or just opening up to romantic partners even. They're just scared and afraid of doing that just because, oh my God, like what's going to happen if I actually open up and they don't like me because вече те ме виждат по този начин. They already are perceiving me in a certain way. And if I talk about like who I actually am and I open up to them, I'm going to break their perception of me and maybe they're not going to like me anymore. And I get that because in a way, for a long ass fucking time, I was the same way. And at times I noticed myself doing that again, I'm like, okay, so I don't want to say like this specific thing, and I don't want to act like this specific in this specific way, so they don't like, think that I'm someone that I'm not. На моменти също се хващам, че ги правя тия неща. Имам навик да го правя because of trauma, I think. But you gotta realize that one day you have to do it. You'll have to do it. You'll have to open up. If you genuinely want to connect to someone, whether that be a romantic partner or a friendship or whatever it is, or just a random fucking person on the street, I don't fucking know, you will have to open up. And it is the most terrifying thing ever. Trust me, I know, because I struggle with it every day. But also, if you don't, then you're never gonna form a real connection. You'll never be able to socialize and feel normal, because I've never felt normal once in my goddamn life. I've always felt like I'm a weird bitch. I'm the imposter girl. I am the alien in the room. Opening up to people, or at least trying to open up to people, I think helps you feel a little less, grounded and a little less normal. Normal с огромни кавички normal. Защото нормалното вече е ненормално. Като цяло не мисля, че има нещо нормално особено в днешните отношения между младите хора. But, it helps you feel a little bit grounded and a little normal. And that's why I always say, if you're a little weird, that's okay. Because, bitch, I've been weird. I've been weird for a long ass time. And I didn't like it. And I wanted to hide it. And I wanted to be different. I wanted to change. Not for me, but for someone else, for people around me, just because that's what they liked. They like that version of me, so I'm going to be that version. And you should never do that, because for as long as I did it, I have so much work to do to get to a point where I'm like not afraid to like actually say what I mean and actually feel the way I want to feel and be who I want to be without feeling like I have to put on a show or a performance for someone. But perception is something I think we all struggle with without even realizing it, защото всички искаме да сме видяни по някаква светлина, която е положителна за нас, от другите хора. И си казваме, значи на тях, що им харесва да се държа по този начин, значи така ще се държа. Because we want to, fit in. We want to be part of society. We want to be part of the group. Because we are a big family, and you want to be part of the family. You don't want to be the black sheep. But girl, I've always been the black sheep. And it is a little scary. It's a little weird, or sometimes very weird. And you do feel like you don't fit in anywhere sometimes. But I feel like I would rather choose that instead of putting on a whole performance in front of someone just so I can keep their perception of me. Keyword, their perception of me, not my own. And I still struggle with it. And I don't have any advice that I can give to someone who might be struggling with that as well. I wish I did. I truly wish I did have something wise to say about this struggle, but I really don't, because it's a learning experience for me too. And at times I feel like I've put on the best performance of my life и се прибирам в нас и си викам някакво, okay, but that was not you, girl. I mean, it was, but was it? And it's like all these thoughts, I'm like, okay, следващия път, като се видим, може би, maybe I can tone it down a little bit. Maybe I can change this and this and this and this and this. So like, I'm not that weird. And another thing is, ще знаеш когато си намерил хората. You know when those people are your people. Because you'll feel it. And I'm very grateful to be surrounded, for the most part, by people who genuinely see me for me and accept me for me. And I don't feel like I have to perform every time that I'm around them or talking to them or whatever it is. I don't feel like I have to do that because I'm not scared of being me. И даже на моменти, когато си говоря с някой от моите приятели, се усещам и си викам, притеснявам се да го кажа това, не знам дали те ще ме виждат по същия начин след това. Дори да е нещо супер малко. I'm very hyper aware of the things I say, do or whatever. И понякога се усещам и си викам, добре, сега, ако го кажа това, дори да е нещо супер малко, дали по някакъв начин ще променя начина, по който ме виждат, дали ще приемат тази нова версия, която, нали, съм им показал от себе си, дали ще отблъснат, смисъл, ако отблъснат, какво да направя, че, нали, за да я приемат. And the thing is, girl, if they do, they do. And if they don't, they don't. And the thing is, girl, you can't really control someone's perception of you. You can't really do that. Защото хората са си различни, нали? Не можеш да контролираш мозъка на някой друг или мнението му за теб или каквото и да е. So you just have to suck it up, which is hard. It's very hard to suck that up. But you know, it is what it is at the end of the day, isn't it? И знам, че ако го споделя на някой да кажем, възрастен от мен, ще каже, това са пълни глупости, това са някакви бели кахари, това са някакви тинейджърски истории. Girl, I am 23. So I'm not a teenager. Okay? So I have been struggling with this since I was maybe 12, maybe 10. So it's definitely not a teenage thing. It's definitely not a phase. Okay? And to those fuckers, I say, how would you feel if I had a perception of you that you didn't like? How would you feel? You wouldn't feel good, would you? Exactly. So guys, my camera died for a second. But as I said, you can't control someone else's perception of you. You can't control your own perception of you sometimes. And that's okay. Because guess what? It changes all the time. Понякога даже okay да нямаш никаква представа за това. Кой си и какъв си, because you learn and you grow. You grow and you learn. And da-da-da-da-da. You know, that's how life works. And it is a scary place to be in when you can't see who you are. You can't tell who you are. You can't tell who you want to be. You can't even tell what you want people to see from you. And that's also okay. And it is very scary. But if you are someone who's struggling with that, or you have struggled with it, and you still at times do, it's okay. You know, because at the end of the day, perception is a very scary thing. And it does mess up with a lot of people's brains and ideas and opinions and everything. И не мога да разбера защо хората не говорят повече за това как представата на другите хора за теб и представата ти на теб за теб fucks with your brain like a lot. Especially when you're growing up, because I feel like that's when it starts. Защото си дете. And you want to fit in, but maybe you're a little weird, but it's okay because you're a child. But then you get a little bit older, you become a teenager, and you're like, okay, maybe I shouldn't be acting that weird anymore because people are normal, because teenagers are doing normal teenager things, and I have to do them as well, because if I do my weird shit that I used to do when I was a child, they would think that's weird, and we don't want that. We want to fit in, especially in high school. And guess what? I was the weird bitch in high school, and it's okay to be the weird bitch. Because if I could turn back time and go back to that specific moment when I was struggling with all of those things, the only thing that I would change is I would tell myself, it's okay to be the weird girl. Just be the weird girl. Do whatever you want. Do all the things. Act a specific way to be liked, but never lose who you actually are. Because at some point, I did lose a part of me. In friend groups, in relationships, I did lose a lot of parts of me that I forgot that I even had, you know? And I just kind of tried to fit myself in a puzzle that I didn't belong in. And that's terrible. Because now I am unlearning all of those things. And I'm getting back my old attributes that I used to have. That I, threw away or buried somewhere in deep inside of me. And you should never lose those, because they make you you, and people are so unique and so different, and that's what makes us so beautiful and so amazing for the most part. And we shouldn't lose those things and those specific qualities of our personalities and of who we are just because we want to be perceived differently. Because you're never going to fit in someone else's box. You never will. And that's still okay. You shouldn't have to. People are supposed to be different than one another. Because if we were all the same, what's the point? Where's the flavor? You know what I mean? That being said, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope it made sense. I really hope it made sense because I don't know if it did. I really don't know if it did, but that's just how I've been feeling, and that's the thought that came up in my brain, and I wanted to talk about it. And I love you for listening to this mess of an episode. And yeah, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me on all my social medias down below. Eat good food, drink water, tell everyone in your life that you love them and that you care about them. Take care of yourself. And I will see you on the next one. Bye.